Are you fucking shitting me? Dude, how long you been racing? You've been racing 800 fucking years, you stupid fuck.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 2 here of the work area. On today's episode we're going to be recapping the Westernapolis event from the Motorplex on the weekend. Today I've got with me another co-host, a really strong figure in the speedway and particularly in the wingless sprints at the moment. I've got Chad Armstrong with me. Chad, how you going?
Good, thanks mate. Thanks for having me.
No stress, mate. Yeah, so another awesome weekend. Obviously, plenty to talk about. We got 2 nights to go through. We'll try and recap what we can of Fast Friday, as well as the Westernapolis and all the events that went in. But firstly, for our listeners, I just want them to get to know you. So you're obviously another speedway diehard. How long you been around sport?
Yeah, like most people, most of my life. You sort of start out as a fan. I used to go there as a kid with my old man, and probably got to 11 or 12, and I had a guy down the road that had a race car, and used to just bum along with him and try to learn as much as I could, and went from there.
And was that at the Motorplex?
Yeah.
Yep. And the car down the road, what was it?
360. So it's Rob Adley. So
Yeah, so no messing around, straight into the sprint cars. That's handy. Yeah, beautiful, mate. And then obviously you're still around it now in the wingless. Just talk us through your car. What have you got?
Yeah, just got a wingless that my brother runs for me. Just a Triple X with a Harris motor, and yeah, I think it's the best division, bang for buck in speedway. So, but I'm probably a little bit biased.
Mate, you've just jumped into a topic that I've got for later on. For bang for buck, it's not going to be hard because some of the costs that I got told that the other divisions are running with just genuinely blew my mind. Like, I'm not a full bottle on all things speedway, but the costs that some of the other divisions have just for consumables and parts genuinely blew my mind. But we'll get into that later. So right now you're still doing a little bit of work. You obviously used to work at RPM. How long did you work there for?
From the start. So that was 4 and a bit years. Initially just started as a small plan with Rick, and it sort of grew a lot bigger, and then obviously he's retired and sold up. So
And then through that came an opportunity to work with a suspension shop in-house there. So how did that all come about?
We had a full-time guy, Brody, which is Callum Williamson's crew chief. He was looking after all the shock stuff, and then he had the opportunity to go off with Callum, so the shock stuff sort of come available to take over, and just worked at it for a little bit there, and like anything, the more you do it, the more you pick up on it, and I had a lot of support from Buzz and FK themselves in America, so it was good to learn.
And so just for the listeners there, so Buzz is...
Yeah, Kim Buswell, so he's been a crew chief in sprint cars for a million years, and was at Monty's for a fair old time, and now he started his own shock shop, which is here in Perth.
Yeah, and you're still doing it there, eh?
Yeah. So I'll go do during the week, do a couple of nights a week, and most Saturdays there with him.
Yep. And I sort of skipped ahead a little bit. One of the other questions that I had written down for you there is who have you crewed for and what divisions?
It's been a wide sort of variety. Obviously, it started with Rob Adley in the 360s, then did a little bit with Gary Higgs Motorsport in super sedans, then sort of went off and did some black track stuff, like circuit racing, and come back to Speedway with Nick Rowe, back in the day when he first got the speed car, and then started full-time with Rick on his production and modifieds. And then, once the shop started, the sort of crewing side of things stopped.
So it's probably an easier question. What division haven't you crewed in?
I've sort of full-time I haven't crewed in a lot of things, but I've sort of helped different people at different times just to, I just love all things speedway like most people.
Yeah. Yeah, the suspension side of things really intrigues me because it's one of the more prominent parts that they change, and it's probably the thing that most of us know least about. So who's like the biggest star, the biggest name that you reckon you've built shocks for?
We sort of got some big customers at the moment. My claim to fame would be Jock Goodyear. Like, I think he's a pretty big name at the moment. We do all his stuff. Jai Corbett and a few other guys on the East Coast.
Yeah, and then how many teams here would run
them? We'd have sort of in the Maddington Toyota series, we'd probably have 5 or 6.
Yeah, right. So the other question that I want to know is how many sets would say Jock Goodyear have in the truck?
I'd say he would probably have, because it all sort of varies. He'd probably have 5 sets, but like each one's a little, like he'd have 2 sets that are one setting and then another set that are a little bit different, and then obviously they're coming back at different times. And guys like that, they race over Christmas period. They're racing nearly every 3 days. So if you smash a set up, they sort of need ones to, even in the night, smash a set up. They need a bolt a set on straight away. So it all depends on how much your racing is, how many sets you have. And
with the top class, top end sort of teams, are they running adjustables or non-adjustables?
Most people are single adjustables, which is rebound adjustable.
Okay.
A couple of people are double, but most of the stuff is single adjustable.
But you obviously need to know what you're doing when you are adjusting.
It's sort of, most of those guys have full-time crew chiefs who are a lot smarter than I am. So, I just build them and let them do their thing. Most of them tell me where they want it.
Yeah. Well, mate, while we're here, well, thank you for all my dumb questions that I've ever asked you. You've were the only people that I felt like I could ever ask questions when I was trying to get my stuff sorted. But we're gonna get stuck into what was an awesome weekend at the Speedway. We're gonna get our backside trackside thanks to BKB Plumbing and Gas. One of my personal sponsors is on my car, as well as the show here, Brody and Kelly Black up in Karratha there. They don't really have a slogan or anything, but if you need anything related to plumbing and gas, give Brody a call and he'll sort you out. So you were at the Speedway with both of us, both Friday night and Saturday night. We'll just sort of try and get into the Fast Friday program initially and just break down some of the results. I'm not going to go into it too much. It's just a bit of a smaller night, but these nights for me, particularly with how the wingless run it, and it looks like the Formula 500s run a similar thing. It's almost like a rookie class, or like we call it the development series. So the guys who usually run up top and win, they have a night off and let the people that are more new to the sport get out on track and not have to worry about getting in any way and just get some more laps under their belt. I think it's a terrific initiative from the Motorplex to run it. Obviously, the amount of classes that get to run now on one weekend, it's just so good for the sport. And even though sprint car's not there was still a decent crowd. I know that's helped me tremendously with what I'm trying to do, but I just know everybody there can run on those Friday nights, and it's a pretty awesome thing. But we'll go through some results. Is there anything that sort of stuck out for you on Friday night?
No, just probably like we'll probably get into it, but probably like the wingless, the development series gives those guys opportunity to run up the front. Like and the tracks are normally pretty good on a Friday night, so it's not super slick, and it's gives them a chance to try different things, and again just more laps. So it's good to see sort of like Blake Scarry and Ben Stockdale run up the front.
Yeah, so just for the listeners who might not know what's going on a Friday night, the sprint cars and late models generally don't run, and they take like a lot of grip out the track. So that's when it's more difficult to drive, when what they call it's gone slick. But the Friday nights, just the newer people to the sport get to go out there and have a good crack. But in the wingless, Jared Goldoni down from Darwin, he took out the wingless heat. Second, Blake Scary and Benny Stockdale. Benny obviously was the co-host from the first week. He drove really well that whole night. I was really impressed with how he went. So he picked up a third place, and again, just really good for his confidence. The same as the other two lads, just to get up front, get some good clean laps, and then effectively when they come out on a Saturday night, it just provides a little bit more of a safer class because everyone's just got that little bit more experience, a little bit more confidence. But yeah, unfortunately, there was a couple of incidents in the wingless division there where a couple of cars got written off both on Friday night and Saturday night. So not ideal for the guys, but yeah, with that, I hope they're all good with that. I know Harry Phillips had a real big dig on Saturday night, which we'll probably cover off, but I'm not too sure how he's going. I hope he's all good.
Yeah, I messaged him today just to make sure he was all good, and he said he was pretty sore, but he was on the mend, which is the main thing.
Yeah, just quickly, I'm just going to check if you're out there. I think it's Dirt Track Nutters have the video. Do you know?
Yeah.
It is huge. So if you jump on Facebook page, Dirt Track Nutters, they've got it there. It just says wingless crash. It is generally one of the biggest ones you'll see. So jump on. If you don't follow that page, they produce some pretty good content, heaps of videos and stuff like that from in the pits and behind the scenes. Another division that ran on the Friday night, Ellis Ones, a great initiative. Troy Beckingham won that. Mitch Campbell, wingless drivers, moved up the ranks. But that class is another really good one. It's somewhat affordable. You can get decent engines for a relatively low cost in speedway terms. And Mikey Greeny third. Ellis One's good. Just mate, if you jump out, if you want to jump in, sorry, Chad, if you notice anything, I'm just going to quickly rattle these off. Legend Cars. Yeah, I didn't get to see too much of them. They were running right before us, so you can never really see anything. They generally run down Bunbury Way, hey?
Yeah, it's good to see that them sort of come up here, and they seem to have pretty good numbers, which, I think the Kyle Beard's pushing them pretty hard in Bunbury, and it's good to see them growing. Yeah,
I heard a podium interview when I was in the staging lane. He said that their numbers have nearly doubled compared to 3 years ago, so it's always good. The more cars that we can get out on track, the bigger the sport grows, and the more successful everyone else can be around that. So junior sedans, young kids get to have a crack. It must be pretty crazy for these kids to be able to get out on the motorplex in the juniors and drive it regularly. It must be awesome. But Jake Lehman, Mackenzie Silver, Archie Root was your podium. The junior 500s get to drive there a little bit, Raf Frasina, Todd Pages, Max Lang. In the Formula 500s, the seniors, David Snagger, Reese Cumming. I don't know who Reese Cumming is, but I see plenty of his T-shirts around the pits.
Yeah, I think he's just a young kid that's come from go-karts, which, I think he ran second last Saturday night as well, so he's sort of making headway.
Yeah, no, there's heaps of shirts for him around. Brandon Marshman third. And then the only other thing that I sort of wanted to cover off on from Friday night is, if you don't know, there's a YouTube channel there, Rain Leeson Motorsport. Just guy new to the sport, just one of your average punters that's just trying to have a crack at getting his feet wet into a sprint car. He runs at LS1, had a few issues so far, but he was looking to have his first big night out, but unfortunately it didn't go his way. I know he ran hot laps and maybe the first heat, but ended up having to pull out. But it's a good follow. It's more content. So if you love your speedway, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all under Rain Leeson Motorsport, jump on, give him a follow, and yeah, he produces heaps of content, not just for himself driving around, but one of the wingless guys who also runs his street stocks in Matt Iwanow. That video was actually pretty awesome. I watched that.
Yeah, it gives you an insight of what's going on inside of Stocky. I think that'd be one of the hardest divisions to race in Speedway.
Just with that, now I just remember that. Have you seen the video?
Yeah.
What's Matt flicking in that little control panel?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay. I just seen it. Yeah, I seen it, but I was actually watching it because I was just trying to figure out what he does to drive, because he flogs me every weekend. So if I could pick up any hints, I would have. All right. That covers off the Fast Friday there. Just another solid event run by the Motorplex. I know some people that can't get there on Saturdays can still get the Speedway fix, come down on a Friday, and you sort of see the newer guys of the sport, and you get to see some people on the podium, and some people get to jump on the podium that might not get there otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good thing the Motorflex is doing there. It's giving, the divisions that also not wingless that get to run on a Saturday night, but the other divisions that don't get to run on a Saturday night, they still get to race under the big lights of the Motorflex.
Speaking of big lights, mate, the Westernapolis Saturday night. Great night. The track was awesome. All the racing was awesome. All the divisions. The Neville Lance Twin 14s was an epic event. Sprint cars was awesome. The late models, the feature race went for ages, but it's still a decent race. They were banging and going through, and we're gonna jump into it. This is the work area, thanks to KRM Logistics, and this is going to be the Westernapolis breakdown. So the first class that we're gonna knock our way through here is the speed cars. It's a special event. It's the Neville Lance Twin 14s. So they run hot laps and a qualifying, one heat race, and then they go into two 14-lap feature races. So the guys get to go out there and have two red hot cracks at it. The first one was an awesome race. A fella that I didn't know too much about, but I since have is Nicholas Rowe, one of your good mates, Chad.
Yeah, Nick. He doesn't mind having a crack, and he's got a heap of talent. He just just got to string it together, or get a car that holds together, or in this case, put fuel in the car.
So that's obviously in the second feature race. He's right up front. He's pulled in. I assumed engine issues, but it was an engine issue technically.
Yeah. The engine doesn't run when it hasn't got any fuel. So,
but I was just in speaking with him. We spoke earlier today, and I just wasn't aware of his driving credentials. To be honest, I just thought he's some bloke from Carnarvon.
Yeah,
but
he gives them vibes. But he's definitely achieved a lot in his racing career. Just obviously things played out and he didn't make a full-time career of it, but definitely had the talent too.
So he's raced go-karts initially, and then which classes did he race on the pavement after that?
So he did some Formula Ford for a couple of years, and then after that went to Formula 4. And then in the middle of all that, he did like mark cars and some different categories, but he's raced really. Raced anything with a wheel really. He's
definitely a gun. Like he was, you don't see too many people, particularly with how Tom Payette was driving on the weekend. Not many people stick with him, and he was right on him. And Tom was flying, and he was right there with him. And you're saying that car? How long's he had that car that he's running now?
So that was the same car we had when I was working for him back in would have been 2015, I think.
9 years.
And then he sold it off. After we finished, he sold it and then bought it back probably 4 years ago. I reckon he bought it back, and he's raced it ever since. I know during the week the Bennett Motorsport team helped him out with some just getting the motor running a bit better and stuff like that. But
do you know? Does he have Facebook and Instagram? Any racing pages, or he's just
no? He's just he's
no internet up in Carnarvon.
No, they haven't got the reception there.
Nah.
he's with Vodafone, so his phone barely ever works.
So the first feature race there was an awesome race, won by Nick Rowe. I know, Tom Payette came second. He was flying. He came through the field as well. Cody Nash again. We spoke about him last week. He's a serious driver. He's obviously relatively new to the division, compared to the other fellas. I think he came from last in the first heat up to third, and then obviously came second in the second feature race. Those boys are flying.
Yeah, he's again just like obviously got a big big speedway history in the family, and he's got the right people around him. Lee Redmond's been around speed cars for forever, and they've got good equipment, and he can drive. So
and I believe he had some help from is it the Watson team? I've seen that he put up a post. Must have diff issues again this week. He said he had some diff issues last weekend. They popped their head up again. In the second Neville Lance Twin 14s, Tom Payette was flying.
Yeah. So no doubt whatever they did after the first one tuned it up a bit better, and
And then second Cody Nash, third Dan Golding. Obviously he still drove well. Third Nick Rowe dropped out, so he did jump up to that spot, but he's only just coming back. Daniel Golding from a little bit of a layoff. Jake Robinson in the 8 and Bo Doyle in the 5. They were all there, but it's pretty evident. These boys are all going good, but yeah, Tom Hayat probably. I don't know why he's exciting, but he's exciting. Some of his slide jobs are crazy. The Bennett Motorsport, jump on their Facebook if you want to have a look. They put up this post that says, and you'll see it says, how many passes can you see, or something similar to that. Man, he's just throwing slides everywhere. He's just flat out. It's a mental watch. Jump in and watch it. But yeah, when you see him live, he might only be a little bit faster in lap times, but man, he flies. I love watching him.
Yeah, he definitely has a crack. He doesn't hold back.
He's a wingless man too.
Yeah.
Just another graduate.
That's where all the good ones start.
That's right. Yeah, they were flying. The track was a bit tricky as well. The completely different to the first week. It was a lot more slick, and Tom spoke in his interview about how they assumed that it was going to be up a bit higher than what it was. But yeah, he ended up running the low line for most of the feature race there, and you could watch on the feet. Cody Nash, he starts running the top and starts coming in hard. So it's good to have two lines on the track. And
yeah, I definitely didn't think the track would come back as good as it did after it being so slick early. I thought that it was going to be a rubber down kind of night. But yeah, Mikey and Gav, they got in and brought it back, and it was. I think the track was awesome all night. Yeah.
Two lanes, people actually passing. Like the heat races were a lot better to watch. But yeah, as soon as that sun went down, I thought the track was gone. Obviously, again, it's just another weekend where the track shows me I don't know what's going on. But yeah, once it went dark, the track definitely came back a little bit, and you could just hear with everyone that jumps on the podium that they just love the track, and that's how they always want it. So with moving into the sprint cars, qualifying, it was all pretty similar. The only real two takeaways that I've seen, I jumped up there and watched it, stuffing my face for some Saturday chicken sticks while I was watching the qualifying. Daniel Harding, do you know what happened?
No, I just I seen it coming in on the forks after qualifying and the diff hanging out of it, so I assumed that he'd got into the fence. Yeah, somewhere.
I was been checking the Trevor Jolly Racing Facebook for an update. Nothing. So I'm not sure whether he's just slid up and hit the fence. It's just as soon as he came out, when they get up on the wall and just go straight away. It's like he's just like driven straight into the wall. When it was getting towed out, the drive shaft fell out. So I'm not sure if it was a diff issue initially or the diff issue was in relation to hitting the wall. But embarrassing. He would have been that angry.
Yeah, especially after last week, he would have been looking for the redemption, and just shows that qualifying is so crucial. So pretty much didn't lay a lap down. So start the heat at the back, which then puts you in the mid the last or B main effectively, and you just your night's pretty much done.
Yeah, that seems to be the sprint cars. We spoke about it last week, how these guys can have a bad night by making one mistake. Yeah, like you can't claw your way back. You can't start 10th. If you just miss qualifying by a little bit, like Daniel Harding couldn't be beaten last weekend. He obviously had that incident and he ended up in the wall. But last week he was gone. No one could have beaten him. He was that fast all weekend, and then this weekend he didn't get a qualifying lap time, and now he's 17th lapped.
Yeah, the competition in the Maddington Toyota. The last couple of years have just been crazy. Like you got guys like Dane Kingshot, Jimmy Inglis. They're getting more and more laps under them, and Kendrick's always been good. He's been off the last little bit, but he's thereabouts.
Yeah. I would love to get him in and just have a chat to him, and just see what they're willing to share, because obviously it's not from a lack of equipment, and some heat races looks like he's back to his old self. He's on the wall, he's flying, but then obviously another result that they wouldn't be too stoked with on the weekend with the 10th, but there's no slouches in front of him. Everyone in front of him has awesome equipment, has good qualifying times, and that's it. Like we just spoke about, you miss that invert in those heats, you're just up against the wall for the whole night. And so just going back through to these results, Dane King shot. I think in my the Knife Merchant Slice and Dice last week, I did pick him to win, but I said he'd come through the pack to win. He obviously started off the front and was gone early. And then halfway through that feature race, it just seemed like the track just got to a pace that no one could really outpace anyone on. Like, he come up to the lappers and it looked like he was racing Jimmy Inglis for like 5 laps. Jimmy was running low, he was running high. They couldn't get away. I think he followed Brad Mayolo for like nearly half the race. Like, it was just crazy.
Yeah, and that's because of competition. So you're coming up on guys that are got similar equipment to you and just as good, but they just haven't had luck in the earlier night, or they haven't qualified that well, or they've had a bad heat race. So once they're in that sort of 12th to 14th area, it's hard to get going forward, and it's hard to drop back as well. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I think 4 or 5 years ago, say Daniel Harding starts in 17th where he finished now, like he can get into the top 10 quite easily, but he's got some drivers in front of him. Michael Keane in 16th, James Inglis in 15th, Aaron Cherkop's improving, Jack Williamson, another heat race win for that young fella, so he's going good. Brad Mayolo in 12th, like, it's not like you can just get around anyone and get back up to the front pack and hang on. Like, if you don't start well in these races now, you just don't really have a chance. I don't see anyone being able to come from 10th to win. Like, if you're not starting in the top 5, your chances of getting on the podium are very, very low.
yeah, especially now that the competition's so good here, and you've got guys like Ryan Newton who he races 12 months of the year.
And then Ryan Newton, he was second. He must be young. Like, you listen to his interviews, and he obviously little bit shy and nervous, but he is so young. But he was flying towards the end there. He started off battling with Caden Manders and Callum Williamson, and then once he cleared them and could get some clear air ahead of him, he actually started mowing down Kingshot, who was, I think he was about 4 seconds out in front at one stage, and he's only ended up winning by 0.8 of a second. So Newton was moving late.
Yeah, he was quick right at the end there, and it looked like he sort of was going to have something for Dane. I think he got a couple of laps to go. He got the wall, which sort of hurt his momentum. But when Dane's that quick on the top, you can get to him, but trying to make a pass is another thing as well.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, even if Newton did get to him, how was he getting past him?
I think it would have been good if he did get past him, because then they would have been throwing some bombs and trying to slide through lappers, and it would have been a good race.
Oh yeah, it was very unfortunate, but it was still an awesome race. There was no yellows. Everyone except Dane Kingshot would have wanted a yellow, but to see these boys fly through that field, they went 30 laps straight, 24 cars out there, no one spun, on a difficult track, or a tricky track. And like Dane Kingshot spoke about in one of his interviews, I haven't seen a track like that for a while. So it's the start of the year, and again, just a testament to the class and the skill set of the drivers in this feature, that they've just banged out 30 straight laps at 125 kilometres an hour. And Kingshot, he would have lapped some people twice. Like, I think from lap 8, he was in traffic.
Yeah, and that's when you got big fields like that, 24 cars. It doesn't take long for them to spread out.
Callum Williamson again, he drifted back, and I thought, he's going to have a similar weekend to what he did on the first weekend. But it looked like halfway through the race, he regrouped. Looks like he threw that wing back a little bit, and he regrouped. He was only just behind Kingshot and Newton in third. So he kicks off after not a disappointing weekend, an unfortunate first opening round. He kicks off his championship in good form. They'll be really strong, I think, from here on in. They've got the car back underneath them. The young fella Brody, what's Brody's last name?
Moller.
Brody Moller. He's a young crew chief, eh? How old's he?
He'd be 22, maybe 23.
So as a crew chief, how many quick times and wins has he got as a young kid?
He'd have a few now. Obviously, he did a fair bit of time on the road with Buzzy and J-Mac in the Monty car, or the Monty deal. So, he's been around at a fair old time.
And then he was with Casey Kane Racing, did a little bit of time with them in the off-season in America?
Yeah, so he went and spent some time with them once, when Cal lost the ride over there. And he was just hanging out in America, and then, went and spent some time with them, went on the road with them, which would have just, been unreal.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously Casey Kane Racing. He was crewing for Casey, hey, not for Brad.
Yeah, Casey, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, they really miss with their setup there. With the wing, when they throw that wing back, it gives them more grip. Is that right? Let's go there.
It just transfers more weight onto the rear wheels, which are in the slick is what you kind of want. You want as much rear grip as you can get. And
Callum seems to run that thing a little bit more aggressively than most.
Yeah, I think Cal will just get on the wheel and throw it around, so he doesn't mind it.
He's a wild man. I missed my little drop here. Mate, that corner there is awesome. I hope things like that take off a little bit because it just adds to that atmosphere. And even if you're not watching what's actually happening on the track, when it's his heat, when it's his turn to qualify, you just know it's awesome.
Yeah, it definitely brings a bit of a vibe to the speedway and sort of a bit of a big bash deal.
Yeah. Did he initiate that? Do you know, or was it just organic?
No, I think it was just the fans.
The Geraldton crew just come down and went wild. Caden Manders, he looked real racy again, like he did in the opening round. Caden Manders in the 60, JNS drilling, really racy early, and then sort of has just dropped back towards the end. Another fourth place, fourth in the opening round, fourth in this round. I'm not sure what's the drop off. He was flying early. He's battling with Newton, but just another solid result. He's a really good driver, and it's only a matter of time before he jumps on that podium too, I reckon. Yeah, and
with the way the year is going, his main focus would be points. With such a long championship, 2 fourths is nothing. Newton leaves, so technically, you take him out of the championship. Yeah,
I haven't seen the updated ones, but Brad Maiolo was third last week, and again, it was Michael Pickens and Newton in front of him, so they won't be here for the whole rounds. But Dane Kingshot, he was fourth or fifth. Caden Manders was fourth, I think, and then obviously Kingshot. So Caden will be right up there. In fifth place, I was really impressed. Chris Coyle's driving the Merger Motorsport. He was moving towards the back half of that race. He was flying, and then he's grabbed the wall at one stage. I think as he was trying to pass on the Manders on the outside, Coyle's just grabbed that wall, and it just looked like it holded his momentum up. And then he's just settled for a cruisy fifth. Jamie Maioli, it surprised me. Jamie was up. He's in sixth. Not like he's a bad driver, but I would have thought Brad was going to get ahead of him, but he drove really well to jump into sixth. Andrew Paolo, another seventh. He just needs to get qualifying. If he gets a time and gets a start up front, I think he came from well outside the top 10 into seventh. So
yeah, I think he's won the mid-pack 2 weeks in a row now, so it just shows you.
Yep.
So I think he would have started 13th. Mid-packs.
Yeah, so 13th to 7th, similar as last week. So once they get their qualifying and some heat races and just give himself a bit of a chance, he'll definitely be dangerous. And something I always look at is when they do their fastest lap time. He's done his fastest lap time on lap 16, which that's in terms of the people ahead of him. Most people will do them in laps 3, 4, or 5. So he's fast right at the end. Right, the track's only getting worse. So, yeah, he's moving. He's obviously cleared traffic and then gone through. Ryan Lancaster kept the car together. No bad luck for him this weekend, and he sticks it in the top 10, 8th. He drove a really good night. He's got a good lap times, really consistent. My man Taylor Milling, the fast worm. Need to buy one of his shirts. There's like this little fluoro one that I think is pretty sick. I'm going to have to jump on and grab one, I reckon. And then rounding out top 10, Jason Kendrick.
Yeah, see, again, you're sort of 10th place. They wouldn't be happy with that, but with the calibre of cars they got at the moment, it's probably just where they're at. Yeah, just from that, like, 5th through to 10th, like, their best lap times are, like, within 0.1 of a second of each other, and they're all roughly the same, so... Yeah, I'm surprised with how tight it was that there wasn't more incidents because
these boys are trying to move forward. Like if there's a chance to throw a slider, like I know Jason Kendrick, if he could have thrown one, he would have. And no incidents. Awesome race. Jason Pride, he's better. He would have wanted to improve on the first round. He's in 11th. Bradley Maiolo, he'll be disappointed from 3rd in the opening round down to 12th.
I think he broke a throttle linkage in the dash, which would, for example, if you finish 2nd in the dash, you're starting 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So he DNF'd the dash, which means you're starting 12th.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, unfortunate, but I know John Coyle and the crew there, they'll have those cars back up and running, and yeah, I think I would have thought Bradley was definitely top 5 chance, and so he'll be looking to bounce back at the next event, the King of the Wings. Jack Williamson, another heat race win.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. They're they haven't got a crew chief at the moment. Their last year's one left them just before the start of the season, so it's just him and his old man, and Boston. They're having a crack. So
yeah. So they have qualifying down pat. He looks so fast and smooth when the track's got plenty of juice in it. He's moving the same as last week. His heat race win again. It's not like he just got it. Like he blitzed him.
Yeah, and he's got all good gear. He got a KRE, got Triple X.
Yep.
So
what shock package you got?
No, he did have the FKs, but he's on their CSIs now.
Oh, Jack, come back to the great man. He'll sort you out. But yeah, he just keeps putting himself in good positions. He obviously, once he figures out the tracks when they're a bit slicker and stuff like that, like he'll be flying because he's got the qualifying and the heat race stuff somewhat sorted. It appears. He's fast early in the night, and he'll just keep giving himself a good look, and eventually one of those nights is going to go his way. Yeah,
it's just good to see him finish laps. Like he's had a couple of nights there when he's had pace and he's tore the thing in half. So yeah, it's just, you're not learning while you're on the infield. So it's good to see them a budget team like that roll it in the truck every week.
Yeah, and then Aaron Chirkop, decent qualifying result, 14th. Jimmy Inglis in the Diamond Bay Motorsports, 15th. I think he was 15th or 16th last week. So yeah, I know he won't be stoked with that, and he'll be looking to improve. Michael Keane, 16th, and then Daniel Harding. Yeah, he just started at the back of the field, and his best lap time's on lap 28. So he's obviously only been in traffic for the whole race, and then he gets clear and he does a 15-6. So Trent Pigden in the 7WX, he's jumped out of got rid of the 19. He's in the 7 now. 2 results that he probably wouldn't be stoked with. Well outside the top 10, JD Dack, AJ Nash, Joel Ettridge got his first win there in the last race qualifier. Miles Bolger, Brooke Newson, Wayne Russell, and obviously Harrison Pete, the young 18-year-old there, is put up a DNS, didn't quite make it out of the LCQ, but again, just more laps for him and the Pete Motorsport car. Obviously, they'll be learning, they'll be sorting the car out, and yeah, he'll just be looking to get as many laps as he possibly can and look to improve.
Yeah, that's the only way you can learn is just laps.
And Miles Bolger, he wasn't in that opening round. Do you know much about Miles?
He's raced a little bit last year. I think
beautiful looking car.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he's a hay farmer or something.
Yeah,
so I guess
Tralee Hay or Tralee Hay.
So yeah, this will probably be their busiest time of the year, with harvest.
Yeah.
So I think he's just a guy that hobby racer, and whenever he can fit it in, he fits it in. And
then Brooke Newson, just got out there. She got her laps in as well. Not too far off the pace with her best lap times, but she's another social media person. So yeah, if you love your speedway and stuff, follow Brooke Newson. She's on all the platforms as well. Look her up. The 90. She produces some good content. There's a nice little video of them out at Ellenbrook, and I just think I always mention all these things because I just want people to jump in and immerse themselves in it, and the more that we can get the speedway name out there, I think that it's just better for everyone. And a rising tide raises all ships, and we're trying to blow this thing up and get going. But nothing else stands out for you with that feature race. Jane Kisha, he was obviously just flying. The top 3 boys were all good, but Yeah, no big prangs. There was nothing. It was a pretty good race. You probably have to go through and watch it. There's probably like 5 or 6 storylines, but so much was going on at once, you can't really keep up with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone's got their own little battle throughout the field, and it's most people watch the front, but there's cool battles all the way from the start right to the end of the pack.
Yep. Move the late models again. I was in the chute. This thing went for a while, but she was pretty wild out there on the track. Smoke and Joe Chalmers, mate. He's collected the chockies here in this one, the A1. He said on the thing is finally at the Motorplex, or we needed another win. He hasn't won there for a while.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's all been pretty much sewn up there for a while by Oldfields and Osbergen.
Well, you look at the Oldfields. Jason in second, Warren in third, Jamie in fourth. They've nearly got the mortgage on this thing. Rod Massara in fifth. You used to crew for him, are you saying?
No, so his brother Rick.
Oh, Rick. Sorry, yeah.
His brother Rick.
Yeah, so Rod in fifth. Brad Smith. Don't know. That's not Brad Smith, a footy player that you know of?
No, he's Brad Smith's from Tassie, so
yeah.
I think he's sent his stuff over here because of the Aussie titles in March over here. And they got a couple other big money shows, so and I don't think late models are sort of super strong on the East Coast, so he's probably just brings it over here. I think there's another guy, Bruce McKenzie, maybe. He's from New South Wales. He's got his car here as well. So
yes, Bruce 17th. Obviously not his best night. A couple of laps down, but there plenty of carnage in this race. I think the 2 blokes spun out under yellows on the form up lap.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, obviously we were in the chute. And
yeah, they were screaming at him on the one way. They just couldn't believe it. They cracked it and they went from a Delaware double file restart. They reckon you boys can't do this. I was screaming at them. We're going single file. You don't know how to do double file. But yeah, that's that one. Yeah, Smoke and Joe Chalmers, Jason Oldfield, Warren Oldfield, and I'm going to speak about him a bit later. But Brent Volksbergen again, just unlucky. Had another DNF and went from leading the race again with a mortgage on it. Last weekend and then another DNF this weekend. It's just that's speedway for you.
Yeah, each week speedway has definitely its highs and lows. It's sort of and he's copped a couple of lows recently, but it wouldn't be too far away before they're back.
And then now the moment you've all been waiting for, we're going to go through the wingless sprint results. This one taken out by Blake Iwanow by 8.7 seconds.
Yeah, he definitely dominated that one.
Yeah, and I just listening to these boys having a chat. Like I sort of thought when I joined, these guys had some sort of secret recipe. They don't. They just know how to drive.
Yeah, like Blake's a class act. He's been in a race car since he was 10 years old. Most weekends, and he's got a good team behind him. His old man Murray is probably one of the smartest guys around a race car, and Murray was a good steerer in his day, so it's definitely
family trait.
Yeah.
It's Blake or Matt looking at progressing classes, or they're just.
I feel like the step up from wingless is such a big money step. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Like where do you go without spending a huge amount of money? We have this discussion all the time. Like I feel like, wingless is a bang for buck, but then all of a sudden you go to the next one and everyone loves to race, but you got to make it affordable too. You can't.
Yeah, so a wingless would be like a 15 to 20 grand to purchase, and then I guess the next class that's like a Motorplex type class would be a 50 grand car.
Probably even more, I would think. Like. If you went speed cars, they're big money. And then the only other one would be formulas, but I'd feel like that'd be a side step rather than a step up. Yeah.
When I was watching the race back, I just thought, he deserves to get a ride with someone. Then like whether it's in a speed car or a sprint car or something like that. Like his skills were phenomenal. He was on that fence, no mistakes, just smooth as. I hope that he gets a look at something in the future. He's only young and he's a phenomenal driver. And then in second, your brother, the number 6 TPE group wingless, Travis Armstrong.
Yeah, we had a good night. Didn't probably the middle of the night wasn't too good when we had a bit of torn up parts, but he drove good in a feature and went forward, which is always a bonus.
Yeah, I'm sure he's spoken about it, but he banged the wall in front of me, huge, and I've thought, you beauty, I've got him. Like, he has to pull in, and then I didn't see him again because he's obviously gone. And then at the end of the night, they said to the podium, the 1, the 6, and the 3, and I thought, how's he gone off the wall? He's nearly in the car park, and then all of a sudden he's on the podium.
Yeah, he doesn't mind the smashing the fence down, which is...
Yeah, I have seen him bang that fence down. He loves it right up the top there. Matty Imanhour, just another class act. Won both his heats, so he'd probably be a bit filthy with a third. But these boys just know where that podium is, don't they?
Yeah, Matt's another one that's a handy steer, and speaking to him, he just missed it a little bit with the setup, but to miss it with the setup and still run on the podium, anyone would be stoked with that, but because obviously they're so good.
Yeah, their standards just really high.
Yeah.
And Brandon Sharp, fourth. He had to start a little bit back. He had an unfortunate incident in a heat race, so he probably could have started a bit forward. Brendan Wedge in a fifth place. Darren Humphreys, Cody Clayton. Cody had an awesome weekend. He had a bit of unfortunate luck on the feature race on the Friday night, but he was flying on Friday night and then had another cracking night. He's a new guy to the wingless in the 42, the Intimidator Boats he's sponsored by. He was flying. He came, I think he was started 14th and finished 7th.
Yeah, he's sort of, his old man's been around wingless a long time, but won an Aussie title.
Yeah, right.
Back in the day, but obviously, he knows his way around a wingless, and Cody's young and doesn't mind having a crack. Yeah,
he gets up on the wall too. Yeah. Friday night and on Saturday night, Cody was right up there. He was flying, so well done, Cody. Another young kid. He's made a massive jump. Like last year to this year, he's a different driver.
Yeah, and I think that's just with the Motorplex being able to get so many laps. There's not many speedways in the country where you could run on a Wednesday, run on a Wednesday night for practice, run on a Friday night, run on a Saturday night. We were talking about it the other day, what was it, in a 1 week period you could run, practice got cancelled, but you could nearly run 2 practices and 3 race meetings.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could, we are lucky enough here, at the Motorplex, like I said, you could run Saturday night, Wednesday night practice, Friday night, and a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think it just helps the development of, because you're in the car so many times. If you raced somewhere else, for you to get 5 times in a car, it's nearly 3 months.
Yeah.
When they race once a month.
Yeah, so just another reason to get down to the Motorplex, buy yourself a wingless or whatever you can afford and get stuck in. Robbie Clark, he came 18th to 8th, I think. He was moving well. Gerald Goldoni down from the Northern Territory in the 7. Riley Ogilvie, another new fella, 11th. Justin Ragg, heat race winner.
Yeah. I think that was his first one, I think.
Yeah, I spoke to him. He said he won one like 4 or 5 years ago, but he's like, you can't compare. It was just like almost just hillbillies out there. But this one he was stoked with, and rightly so. He was driving real good. He came in and he said the car's never felt so good. It was just handling like a dream out there, and he didn't have a left shock.
Yeah. So
it's funny. I said to him, you can do all these things to try and set your car up, and then the best it's ever handled when it's only got 3 shocks on it.
Maybe he's just take it off every week.
Yeah, then Memphis Knowles, another rookie in 13th, so just he's showing progression. Jeff Underdown in the Warners Transport 14th. Benny Stockdale, he'll be disappointed. He had a really, really good Friday night, and then obviously, not his best showing with a 15th. Mitch Wilson, James Bissiker, he had a DNF. Corey Wilson, Matty Fitzgerald, a few big crashes, lots of DNFs as well. Few too many cars written off there for the wingless. It's obviously somewhat of a budget class, and so when we the drivers and have these big crashes, it hits the wallet pretty hard, and sometimes it can take people out for a few months. So Jordan Johnson,
Yeah, that was a big one.
That was the Friday night. I don't think there's much left of that car. And then Harry Phillips, he's obviously had a big dig as well. So shout out to those boys, and no doubt they're going to need some parts. So if you've got any lying around, flick him a message and see what you can offer up. But yeah, overall, the wingless run late, but only a couple of stoppages, and yeah, they were flying. Now, mate, we move into now our sponsored segments here. So I'm going to just bang my read off here. I've got a CBD, Cannabis Botanical Distillery. Here we go. The Cannabis Botanical Distillery, raise your glass. Cannabis Botanical Distillery, who pride themselves on being innovators in distilling the best of nature and bottling it for your enjoyment. Find them at cannabisbotanical.com.au on Instagram and on Facebook. All right, so like we always do, Matty Beaton, the good man, he's sent up another couple of frothies here. I've got a CBD ginger beer. Just let's listen and see how this one cracks. Beautiful as usual, little taste. Magnificent. The CBD ginger beer, if you're a ginger beer fan, it is genuinely the best ginger beer on the market. My missus, she knocked a few back, but it's definitely her favourite. It's genuinely beautiful. So jump online. There's a list of where the bottle shops you can grab them. They've got a whole range of stuff. Or if you're ever near Denmark, pop into the Dam and have a chat to Matty and Chelsea Beaton, and they'll sort you out. It's a beautiful product. But this week it's the Raise Your Glass. I've gone with the Merger Motorsports Chris Coyle. He looked on fire, just banging the wall down, flying. He ended up fifth. I think he probably could have pushed up right up to have a little sniff at that podium, but just knocking that wall there right at the end just to seem to take his momentum out of the way. But third in his group qualifying, second in his heat, and third in the dash. He's had a bit of bad luck in the last couple of runs where I've watched him run, but he looked like he was right back to his best, and he'll grow in confidence, and if he just keeps putting himself in those good positions, no doubt he will be cracking that podium soon. Yeah,
definitely was having a good crack, and they're always thereabouts. Those guys, they got a good team, and Ant does a good job as a crew chief, and their motors always run good.
And then you just mentioned these crew chiefs a little bit. How important do you think these crew chiefs are?
Oh, I think it's massive. Like, you got to have the driver and the crew chief have got to have a good relationship, because they, in a nutshell, they're the ones that are nearly the whole team's just as important as each other. Like, someone might put the wrong tyre on, or wrong stagger, or your tyre guy, or crew chief might be too tight, too free. Like, it's pretty. And
Ant, what's Ant's real name?
Anthony Wilson.
Yep.
He's been around forever. He's he's been with Chris for a few years now, and then they run the FKs. So
yeah, well, there you go. Who have you got for the Cannabis Botanical Distillery Raise Your Glass?
I've got Ryan Newton. I don't really know what he ran through the night, but just watching him come home strong in that feature, I thought, a couple more laps or a couple different things played out different. He could have definitely been having a shot at the win there.
Let's just we'll go through the qualifying there for him. Stand by, just get up the MyLaps Speed Hive. I love this site. You can go back through and just get yourself into a rabbit hole. So it wasn't in Group 1. Great radio here, guys.
Yeah, that's my fault. I probably should have done some research.
No, we're visual here. We're visual. We feel our way through Speedway. We feel like it. So, yeah, fourth in qualifying, but he had Kingshot, Mayola and Williamson ahead of him, and obviously Williamson was quick time, 0.3 off Williamson. So, probably started off pole because he's in fourth. So then, yeah, it'd be tough. Like, it's probably more impressive that these guys have come over and run the motorplace. I know they've been here before, but to put up a showing against these guys that run here week in, week out, like we spoke about, can run it on Wednesday night if they want, like particularly early. Like, I think the Wednesday night track would be real similar to what those sprint cars actually qualify on.
Yeah, and I think that's the best part about the Motorplex. It's different every week, so you're not rocking up at the same place doing the same thing. Like, you sort of, it's where those drivers and crew chiefs earn their keep, because what you used last week isn't going to work this week.
Yeah, that was for Muppets like me. It's annoying because I never know what's going on. So, just with that track, I've just got a note here. It just seems to be when it's slick like that, the cream rises to the top.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think, it just when it slows up, the slower cars get even slower, and the guys that can still be quick on that kind of stuff is. So Buzzy used to always tell me, when the track slows up, that's when you got to get to work and be fast. So it's one thing I've probably tried this year definitely is once I sort of see the track slowing up, that's when you sort of got to start making changes. You can't just do what you're doing before. Yeah,
because when the track's so grippy and juiced up, you can sort of get ahead of yourself because you can stay close to the fast guys and
everyone's fast.
Yeah, and then but you start thinking you're fast, and then it goes slick like it does, and then Blake Ironhour pulls my pants down and nearly laps me.
Yeah.
So, but I like to see that track like that because then you can truly understand who the drivers are out there. Like it's easy to when it's juiced up to hang on the back of them, but the performance that all these winners, like you think about it, Tom Payette, you would say he's probably the best speed car. Dane Kingshot, probably the best sprint car. Blake or Matt or Travis, like when it's slick, probably the best. Well, they are the best. So in each class, like the best driver won, whereas it probably wasn't the case last weekend.
No, that's the hard thing. Like last weekend was a very Trav got lucky with some good heat draws, and that put him off the front. And when the track's like that, it's sort of, it's easy to be fast because you're just locked down and buried. You're not touching the brake, you're not getting off the throttle. Where then, this week he sort of botched up the heat race, and I think he started 7th, which, then you've got to work hard to get forward.
Yeah, you'd be more proud of the second place this weekend than last weekend, because this is a real driver's track. You know you've earned your second. Like you can't fluke it. Yeah. Whereas, most likely last weekend or even Friday night you could fluke a podium, but when it's that, you can't fluke that. You got to do too many laps on a extremely technical and difficult track. You can't fluke it. So if you're on the podium, you've earned it.
Yeah, 100%.
The next one here, another sponsor segment, sponsored by my great mate Reese Jones down at Westberg Marine. Here we go. This is the Westerberg Marine Pump Up. Who needs a bit of air in their tyres? Westerberg Marine, built in-house and built to last. For over 50 years, Westberg Marine have built premium quality vessels on time, on budget and to specification. Thanks to their rigorous quality control and communication process, you'll stay informed every step of the way. Yeah, so again, Reese Westberg, mate, they just built this absolutely beautiful 10.5 collar rib boat there for Parks and Wildlife down in Albany. Jump on their Facebook page, have a look at some of their work. Just the most beautiful boats coming out of there. They build boats for Rye Craik, professional surfer, Mark LeCras. They're always really active on their social media. So jump on and give them a follow. If you buy a boat, tell them Kurt sent you, and Reese will probably give you 50 or 60% off retail, I reckon. So this week's the pump up, spoke about him earlier. He needs it. Brent Vosbergen for me. Last weekend was gone. Had the race won. 3 laps to go. He's done an engine. Rips out what he called the Old Faithful for this round. He was right up the front again. Does a left rear and pops it, and they make him go in the infield. Yeah,
it's when you're down. It's sort of, but yeah, they'll be back. Yeah, they've been the Vosbergen name's been top end of Speedway for many years. They know what the roller coaster's like.
I have this weird analogy that Speedway. Do you play golf?
Yeah.
So I think Speedway has a similarity to golf in the fact that you can have a horrendous round and you hate it and you think, I hate golf, I've wasted 4 hours out here, and then you hit your last shot and absolutely mince it, put it right in the hole, and bang, you love it again. But that's what Speedway's like. You have an absolute nightmare of a night, but you can have 2 or 3 nightmares in a row, and then you have one feature race where you're flying and you love it again.
Yeah, it's definitely my golf games. Normally, I have those up and downs within the same round.
Yeah. But yeah, so shout out Vosbergen. Yeah, like you said, I know he'll be back. He's a class act, and they know what's what, and he'll sort it out. But yeah, hopefully he can get back and get a little pump up. Who have you got?
I've got Daniel Harding because I feel like, yeah, he's definitely better than where they're at the moment. They've showed plenty of speed, but they just can't get the job done. So
Yeah, with that track, obviously not recording qualifying time, it's just a nightmare scenario, really. He's off the back in everything. He's out of the B dash. Like, yeah, just hard to move forward. But yeah, Trevor Jolly and the crew there, no doubt they'll be up and going again. Beautiful looking car, beautiful outfit, all their stuff's quality. Yeah, polar opposite nights. Hey, imagine the first week, you just think, come on, just finish that race, we win. And then you go to almost the complete opposite. So he won everything nearly on the first night, and then complete opposite weekend. So, yeah, he probably definitely needs a pump up. Trevor Jolly needs a pump up. The whole crew need one. And, yeah, hopefully they bounce back. The next segment that we've got here is the TPE Group Standout Performer. I've spoken about him again already a little bit, but I've got Blake Ibanhour. He won the feature race by 8 seconds. I already knew it, but it just proved to me that he's a real driver's driver. Like, yeah, you can't fluke that track. The skill set. If you go back on pay-per-view and watch that race, he's made no mistakes. He's not even nicked the wall like hard. It's just he was up top and just moving. And to win a wingless race by 8 seconds when the class is so even and everyone's, you know, the top guys, they have their cars sorted. They're all reasonably similar. To win by that is an absolute flogging. Like,
yeah, he definitely pantsed them. Even in the heat race, he was quick, but he wasn't dominating like that.
Yeah, it's just you think that running the wall would be. I'm not sure actually what people think from in the stands, but to run the wall like that is a serious effort. It's a little bit intimidating. There's no room for error. Like you can't adjust. You once you set yourself into that corner, you have to have it right from the start. Otherwise, you're in the wall and you crash.
Yes, and especially for I think it was 20 laps.
Yep, 20 straight.
Yeah, so to run that same line for 20 laps, and you know, even like the mental focus, just to be able to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, awesome effort. Shout out to him, TPE Group. Some sort of voucher will be coming your way from the great man Clarkey, I reckon. But who have you got for the TPE Group Standout Performer?
I've got Dane Kingshot. I feel like he didn't put a foot wrong all night. I'd assume he qualified somewhere up the front, but then he won the dash, led from the get-go, I'm pretty sure, and he just even through lap traffic, he didn't, he's led a couple of features there before and made errors in lap traffic and wadded it up, but even tonight, even that night there, he wasn't making any silly moves. He was just clean.
Yeah, you watch it back, it's not patient, but he's like calculated. Every time he went for a pass, it was aggressive, but not overly aggressive. He passed when he needed to pass. He was patient when he needed to be patient. And yeah, like they obviously closed in on him, but you don't have to win by 10 seconds. If you take a win, you win. But yeah, very, very good. And looks like he's gone over east for the first time. Hey, are they going to have Kerry Madsen, do you know?
No, I think they're taking him, which will be good.
Yeah, fair enough too.
Yeah.
Like he's flying. So I wanted him to do it last year because he was driving really well, but I think he just went over there with him and watched at the Classic and stuff like that. But he seems like a ripper lad too.
Yeah, he's a good dude, and that whole team, like, it's cool to see. Back when I was doing the speed cars with Nick, so Matt Cochran, the crew chief on that car, he was working on Dane's car back then, the speed car, and they're just best mates from school that have a crack. And
so did they progress two crickies together?
Yeah, Matt went there first.
Yep.
But back then, Ryan Cricky, which is now, he was their sponsor back then, so he sort of, obviously seen something in them back then, and it was just, they were just, two guys with Dane's dad on the road in a truck and drink and export across the country. But it's cool to see them. Now they're both of them are with one of the biggest teams
legit
in the country and winning races. They're not just there turning up. They're putting on a show.
Yeah, no, and shout out Cricky Motorsport there. They've thrown out their tyres and a very crafty wingless driver scooped in and got himself another set. So cheers for that, lads. So generally what we're going to try and do is record a preview. But given that it's a couple of weeks, not to the 9th of November, the King of the Wings, we'll try and jump in and do a extended preview of that next week. So we're going to release this one tomorrow, Tuesday morning. This one will be on all the platforms, and then every Monday we're going to record a show and then release it and get it out there on the Monday night, late Monday night. So it'll be ready for all the victims in the sheds and in the shops getting their cars ready. Hopefully everyone's jumps on board with the podcast and is playing it while they're working on their cars or driving across the country. And any suggestions or anything like that, jump onto all the social media platforms, the Work Area Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook. My missus is running all that stuff for me, so it makes it a little bit easier for me. I've lost my nana a few times, couldn't figure out how to link everything, and she's jumped on board and sorted that out. But any suggestions or questions or anything like that you want to jump on the podcast, feel free to bang them in, and we'll do what we can to jump on board. But that's episode 2 wrapped up here of the Work Area Podcast, and we'll see you at the track sometime. Cheers.
Are you fucking shitting me? Dude, how long you been racing? You've been racing 300 fucking years, you stupid fuck.
Where?